And good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good whatever time of day it happens to be for you. How is everybody today? Everybody being nobody yet, but that's okay. It's early on a Sunday morning, at least on the East Coast. It's even earlier in the rest of the United States and Canada. Oh, got a lot of little things to do today. So, I'm going to just get started. The first thing I need to do is take a look at my notifications, and I see that we have a comment on the Synergasia We Need You prompt. And comments on that mean we have somebody interested in joining us in Synergasia. So let us see what they have for us. Okay, this one's going to be an interesting one to place. Modern space-era technology, close to the sea with rivers, forests, and plains, no mountains. Landing site of the colony ship, yeah, we're going to have to talk about that. We'll make it work. This is going to be an interesting one. Okay, Kajitan, if and when you hear this or see this, we will get this going. I'm going to just leave him a comment. Okay, we've given him a comment. I need to into here. Why is that article not there? Saying modern era. With space travel. Pretty much sums that up. Has anybody joined us? Caro, welcome. Sable, welcome. Sudayan, welcome. Didn't see you sneak in. That's because you didn't identify yourselves, but that's okay. We have a new member in Synergasia, but Cartyrion is going to be interesting to place because of the requirements that they're placing on, or the desires they're placing, I should say, on their area. I am going to put this article into, it isn't planning, okay, it was just a draft, that's why it wasn't showing up. That should be better now. But we're going to definitely find a spot for Cartyrion. It's just a matter of where. Okay, so we did that. And I also need to come to the world page. Add Cartyrion to the list. Gives us 16 now. Reminds me, I need one more change in this article. Okay, so that takes care of task 1. Who do we have? Sable, good morning. You have yet to get coffee. Conversation is not advised. Yes, well, get your coffee and come caffeinate with me. As you may have just seen, we have member number 16 joining Synergasia. I have no idea where we're going to put Cartyrion because of their requirements, but we will find a spot. It is brewing. Ah, yes, I know that feeling. So now it's time to move on to mini task number 2 for the morning. I had an RPG session yesterday, one of my playtest groups running through Cartyrion, and I would like to knock off the session report for that. When I do these session reports, I do like to juice them up a little bit, make them an interesting story in their own right. I use a couple of the World Anvil tools, in fact, to track sessions. In addition to this, you know what? Before I start on this, let me jump through and also show the other important thing that I do as I'm going, and that is, let's see, it was Playgroup 1, and if I go to my storyteller screen and hit notes, you'll see I do keep track of things that came across during the course of the... I made that copy so I can get rid of that from here now. These are notes to myself for things that I need to do to go back and... yeah, possibly one of the moons. That is a possibility. That would be the safest place if he can deal with the... since he does want to have an indigent species, if that indigent species happens to be a sulfur-based species, or is capable of living on the sulfur moon, that would be an ideal spot. So that's one of the possibilities. The other possibility is we put them. Like I said, I'm torn between putting them in the modern, in one of the modern sci-fi sections, or because of the time zone barrier things, or in the prehistoric section. But if we put them in the prehistoric section, we just need to make sure that if there ever is going to be collaboration between that section and the others, that they understand that there might be some other fancy rules. And the problem with that too is it might violate the whole our whole method of our future planned method of dealing with traversing the time zone barriers. It would basically take all his tech away, and I don't think we want to do that. So we'll find a spot for him. I just need to get with Kahuna and we'll talk it out. Kahuna and possibly Kajitan, and we'll find the right spot for them. Okay, so anyway, like I said, during the course of my session yesterday, as I was working through the script that I was using, and I can show you the script real quick, because I keep the scripts in here too. So as I was running through the scripts, and these are my script and DM notes for during the session. Actually have to update a few things. It wasn't the marsh alligator, it was a sleeper jaw for this group. But as I run through all of these things, places where there are major edits or corrections that need to be done, there was a whole chunk of dialogue that was missing from here that I planned on putting in, that I thought I had put in and didn't. There were a few other things that came up to make it easier for the DM. There were a few conditions that popped up during the course of play, and my objective is, rather than require that, okay, let's stop the action, pull out the 600-page rulebook, look up what stupefied exactly means and does. My intention is to actually have a little insert right in the GM, right in the plot script. That's a reminder for what stupefied is and does, and these other ones as well. My objective is eventually for the publishable versions of these adventures to be as self-contained as possible for game flow reasons. Let's see. Sable, yeah, that might spoil his intent. Yeah, if we put him in the ancient zone, I'm not sure if Kajitan is he, she, they, but so I will try to use they. If we put them in the ancient zone, like I said, our intention, we're going to kind of pull basically pull the premise from the new Torg role-playing game, which does involve time, like temporal barriers around regions, and when you cross the temporal barriers, the barrier acts to correct technology anomalies, so that your rifle turns into a longbow, or your jet fighter turns into a biplane, or whatever. So suddenly having a colony spaceship crash land in that zone would imply that the spaceship itself would suddenly transform into something without technology, and his intent clearly is to have technology, so we can't do that. We could put him in one of the modern areas and just have that modern area also populated by a primitive species. I mean, that's definitely doable. Or we could cut him off from everybody else entirely and put him on one of the moons. So we'll think about that. So anyway, like I said, these are things I'm not going to work on right now, but there are some bits that I need to go back to do to edit the script. For now, I want to focus on... is it just me, or is there, once you get to here, is there no way to go back to the regular world anvil? We get right there, it goes. Yeah, that's how I can do it. So there is a way back. Good. So what I want to work on now is the session report, and all I have in here right now are the short notes of the high points that absolutely have to get in there. And now I'm going to get creating. Okay, Sable, since you are the main person in here right now, assuming you're here, are you just listening, lurking, or are you writing, or... because if you're writing and a sprint will help, I'll be happy to launch a sprint timer. If not, I will just work on this and ramble on as I go. I'll leave that up to you. So until I see an answer, I will just get started, though. Okay, sure. Yeah, grab your coffee. Let me know when you're ready, and I'll start a sprint when you're ready. Time to do some quick math. Let's see. 2 days out to the farm. Make some notes here. Day 2 gremlins. And before that, it was 1 day for traveler. So 6 days plus a rest day. There were 4 rest days there. Plus 2, 4, 5, 6, 7 days more. And another 2 now. So they have been here for 19 days. Okay, Branwyn asked the party to travel to the Lizard Fens. Bacaro, how's it going? Glad you could join us. We're waiting for Sable to get back with her coffee. There she is. Her back with coffee. Pages are loaded up. Let's do this thing. Okay. We're going to launch right into a sprint playing Minecraft. Oh, you can Minecraft for 10 minutes sprint. We're going to do 10 minutes. We'll see how far I get. I'm going to actually take notes myself. Once I find something to take notes on. There we go. This thing says I have 212 words now. So let us launch a sprint in 3, 2, 1, and go. Clock is up in the corner up here. Not in the corner, but up in the top middle, I should say. To that because I need to look something up. Moonflower, welcome. Trying to deal with a family gathering. Small children do not have inside voices when playing. No, they do not. This is true. We are in the middle of a sprint, by the way, which will be done in 3 minutes and 15 seconds, give or take. Minute to go in the sprint. Time is up. Time is up on the sprint. How did we do? I got... Ooh, I had a good one. $332 words for me. How'd you do, Sable? 532 words edited. Excellent. Excellent, excellent. So now that we have another 1 or 2 people here, a couple of quick things. Moonflower, you will be interested to know, as will Macaro, we have a 16th member of Synergasia as of this morning. Kajitan has put in a request, and if you jump over to Synergasia and look at the if you look under planning, you'll see there's a planning article, and at the bottom of that you'll find a link to Kajitan's application if you want to actually look through it. I opened up that article so that everybody can see everybody else's metas. Um, Not sure where we're going to place them yet, but we will find a spot. Oh, one other announcement I almost forgot to make. At the very end of my stream on Thursday, apparently, Seratan Wizard of Isinglass snuck in a follow, and that was my 100th follow. So I have hit my first goal of 100 followers. I'm not quite sure how to celebrate that, but I'll come up with something, I'm sure. And as is the way of these things, I will also be upgrading my goal now to 125. And we'll see what happens then. I have to come up with something good to commemorate the 100, though. I will do that sometime this week. I'll figure it out. Sable, 3 laws of children. Kids will make noise, kids will make messes, kids will break things. That is correct. You can have nice things, or you can have kids. That same saying, by the way, also applies to cats. But we need kids, so. I'm glad we're still attracting people into Synergasia. That's the important thing. And again, you know, we keep stressing this when we talk about it on the various streams. There's no time limit on this. It's not like you're coming late to the party and you're behind. I mean, you know, there'll be a pile of prompts there waiting for you, but the whole point of Synergasia is it's kind of an escape from the rest of the escapism that we're all doing. It's a place to go. You know, if you're a little, you know, if you're blocked in your own world and you're not quite sure what to do next, and you just need a little break, you pop over to Synergasia and do a little work there. Sometimes that'll actually give you ideas, you know, for things you wanted to do in your main world. You know, or gives you just a chance to explore or get ideas out. You know, so we're hoping to provide service. Moonflower, Sable, my problem was is when you were woken up this morning by the screaming of a child instead of being. Is that you oversleeping or them arriving early, Moon? Alright, so let us launch into another sprint in another minute or two. I need to put an in-between sprint timer up, just so that these things don't come too fast. I need a time since last sprint so we can keep track of that. I don't know that I'll ever be quite as structured as Writer Greg, but I do find the structure does even help me, at least when I'm in, you know, spew out the words mode. Sable, last night my dead body decided that this 5 hours of sleep a night nonsense you've been doing for the past 2 weeks was over. You crashed at 11:30. So now you're up really early, but you've had enough sleep. Well, that's good. That's good. Yeah, now you have to kind of reset yourself. Yes, I caught a sunrise this morning myself on the East Coast. You know, well, the sun comes up over the trees. My porch faces east, and the sun comes up over the trees this time of year, right a little bit after 7 o'clock in the morning. So I was out there with my cup of coffee, my first cup of coffee, enjoying the sunrise before the weather gets too cold to really enjoy it. You were told 10 and you were woken up at 9:30. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I find people arriving early to be more impolite than people arriving late. You know, especially if you're the type that scrambles to get ready at the last minute. Okay, let's knock off another sprint, and I'm hoping to be able to get this done. I'm almost done with this thing, and then I can move on to my other thing. We'll have still plenty of opportunity to do other sprints and other things. Calling me out? I'm not calling you out. Yeah, the kids knew they were coming too. Yeah, who doesn't remember being a kid and being anxious to go visiting somebody, you know? So, oh yeah, always doing things at the last. Yeah, so do we all. So do we all. Oh, I just realized. Yes, this wasn't they crossed easily. They were the ones that were first attacked. How about that? All right, let's launch into sprint number 2 of the day. This will be another 10-minute sprint, and we will be starting in 3, 2, 1, and go. And time is up. I have no idea how long time has been up. It couldn't have been long. So how did people do this time? Let's see. I just finished, which is good. What did I get done that time? Let's see. Oh, another 370 words. Not bad. But I am done with this. So let's see how it looks. I'm going to read this out real quick just so people know what's been going on in my world. It's been a few days. It's been a few days since returning to the Bugbear's Head Inn from the Jennings farmstead. Farmer Jennings has his tools, and his family is learning to live with the Fae. While relaxing and thinking about what comes next, Branwen Penman finally returns from her long hunting trip. She's been absent since the group first arrived at the inn 19 days ago. After being introduced to the group, Branwen did have an offer of adventure to give the party. A simple message retrieval run into the deeper parts of the Feywood. By the way, the party, when I used the word simple for the second time during the session, that actually launched a 5 or 10 minute discussion among the party members about how the word simple coming from a dungeon master is probably one of the most frightening words in RPGing. Jumping back over here real quick, edited another 188 words, spent the rest of the time adjusting and updating timelines. Excellent. Moonflower updated role permissions to fix a problem in the server. Good. People are getting stuff done. That's good. Let me jump back. You have language-specific channels. People are not following the rules. One for Persian-based chat, one for English-based chat. The rest of the channels are open. Persian-based, huh? Interesting. Okay, back over here. The party started its journey north into the deeper parts of the Feywood, following the stream that runs alongside the inn. They were accompanied for the first 5 days by Daphnia, the Naiad, who lives in the stream, and who offered to ensure, with the help of her friends in the forest, that the journey to the edge of the fens would be uneventful. During this time, the party had several opportunities to converse with the Naiad, who was quite friendly and appreciative that the group was willing to help the Fae by retrieving the message for Amalthea. They learned a number of interesting things during the conversation. That's the part I do need to fix. I just need to put in a little quick bullet list in there. On entering the Lizard Fens, the party was on its own. They had been warned about the possibility of gremlin harassment and told of the territorial boggards who disliked outsiders and hated the lizard folk. But they were not forewarned about the first real hazard they came to face. The fens are filled with intertwining narrow channels and pools of still water, and it was while crossing one of these channels that the party confronted the most feared natural predator of the lizard fens, a sleeper jaw, which, by the way, only exists thanks to summer camp. The group had decided to string a rope across the channel by throwing a grappling hook into a tree on the far side. Using the rope for stability, Endrin, the dwarven sorcerer, was the first to cross, impatient as the others decided on best approach. Endrin was able to demonstrate that at its deepest point, the channel was almost as deep as he was tall, so that Dave the Goblin Alchemist and Hestia the Halfling Barbarian were going to have difficulty. Osric the Human Fighter and Aranel the Elven Rogue should have little trouble getting across, and should in fact be able to aid the shorter members of the party. Raelin the Dwarven Cleric simply waded in after Endrin and crossed quickly. Next to attempt to cross were Aranel and Dave, who was riding on Aranel's shoulders. As they reached the midpoint of the stream, though, the surface of the water rippled some 10 feet to their south, as the upper jaw of a large creature opened to reveal a maw of frightening teeth. A jet stream of liquid shot from just beneath the tongue of the creature, directed at Dave's head. Fortunately, the goblin's reflexes were good, and he dodged the stream completely. But the predator wasn't finished. Its next move was to dive and attempt to grab Aranel's leg in its maw. Fortunately, again, the beast was unsuccessful. Aranel's elven agility, I have a typo there. Aranel's elven agility allowed her to escape the water, getting her and Dave safely to the other side. She then drew her rapier and turned to defend herself and others. In the meantime, Osric had already loaded Hestia onto his shoulders, so all he could do at the time was to quickly toss the halfling off and ready his war axe. He then waded into the channel to attack the creature. Hestia recovered her composure and readied her greatsword. The battle was quick, but the creature did manage to get hold of Osric at one point, knocking him off his feet and nearly dragging him under the water. He escaped that fate, but succumbed when the creature's jaws found him a second time. Fortunately, Raylan from across the channel was able to prevent a permanent terrible fate for Osric. In Pathfinder 2, clerics have a cantrip with a 30-foot range called Stabilize. There is an equivalent thing in D&D, but I believe it's a touch spell. Pathfinder gives you a 30-foot range on it. Good morning, afternoon, whatever, Dazzly Cat. Glad that you could join us. Let's see. Endrin's magical missiles, the few blows that Osric managed to land before falling, and a careful jab or two from Aranel, who had the misfortune of feeling the effects of a vicious tail swipe from the creature, were enough to slay the Sleeperjaw. The carcass was hauled ashore. After inspecting it, Aranel and Hestia realized that this was not a typical marsh alligator and quietly harvested several vials of Sleeperjaw venom, which was another summer camp article, by the way, without the party really noticing. In the meantime, Dave prepared himself for a feast of raw gator guts, as the rest of the party made camp for the night on some dry ground not far from the channel. After Dave sharing some healing elixirs and Raylan invoking some divine healing, the party settled in for the night. And it was a short session, and that was as far as they got. So now you all know what I did yesterday. One typo I found in there. There it is. And the last thing I need to do is bring in a list from over here, but to do that, I can just copy and paste that list from my notes. It won't be all of this list, and I will have to reword some bits of it, but I can start with this list. Let's see. See, they didn't talk about the council. They didn't talk about Amalthea. gremlins. Okay. And she did talk about the boggers. And she did talk about the lizard folk. Okay. Now we're done. Let's take a quick look at it now. Okay, list is in. That's all done. Perfect. Okay, task finished. What time is it? It is 10 after 11. Oh, this is Kajitan's Synergasia request, by the way. Okay, I am going to spend some time now working on some stat blocks. I have been loading up stat blocks for basically for slightly genericized versions of all of my playgroup characters, all of the playgroup player characters. There are 15 of them in total, and I'm going to use those 15 as the selections for the 4 people that will hopefully, assuming we can get it scheduled. DM Stretch, Moonflower Rider, E-Songbird, and Scribe of Nakoti will be playing through one of the first level character sessions that I have built for Cartyrion in the week before Halloween, and we're going to try to get that get that session done on stream and live, so that everybody will get a chance to, if you've never seen Pathfinder before, you'll get a little taste of that. It is a reasonably appropriate Halloween-themed adventure. It's one that I've done. You might have seen bits and pieces of it, with some of the stuff I was doing during the last couple of months. I'm not going to. I'm not going to do much in the way of spoilers at this point, in case anybody hasn't seen things. But I do need to get the characters in just to make it quick and simple. Instead of having people learn enough of the game set to create their own characters, I'm going to basically give, here's 15 characters with little mini backstories. Pick the one that you think will be fun. It's just a one-off. They are first level characters, so there's not an awful lot to them. So that should be fun and interesting. And I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them done. 9 more to go. And I have found from experience that it takes about 10 to 15 minutes a piece to get them up. So the first thing I am going to do is what? The first thing I'm going to do is edit this one, just so I know who's in what group. These G3 things are so I know who's who. Save. Now let's not be silly, and let's do this right this time. I'm looking at PCs. Which elf rogue is this? That's got to be Aranel. That's the only old elf rogue I have. will check that. Okay, I'm going to just get one or two things real quick set up, and then we will launch into another sprint. Pardon me a second while I bring up Roll20. I'm going to drag this off and out of the way in a second. I just need to get this up so that I can find the characters. I don't want NPCs. I don't want the bulletin board. I want characters. And I'm in the wrong game. I want game 1. Well, there we go. Now I'm going to just drag this off and out of the way over here. So I can still see the chat. Actually, let's do this. Okay, I can see the chat. I can see what I need to see. I can do this. So now let us launch another sprint. Those of you who are ready for sprint-like work. And we will go in 3, 2, 1, and go. interesting. Have to fix that. Speed movement. This is where I was. time is up yet again. How did people do? Let's see, while I'm waiting for that, do a quick catch up. Back, better getting my slippers. Chilly morning. Yes, it is chilly. It's chilly here. It was about 42 degrees Fahrenheit this morning in New Jersey. I'm finally back at my computer. Put my sheets in the wash. Gave the 3 dogs a small treat of peanut butter. Ooh, peanut butter. Puppies love peanut butter. And FaceTimed my aunt, who couldn't make it for the baby blessing that happened at my house this morning. There we go. Lots of stuff done. Dazzler had 7 lines on paper. Sable doing a broad punctuation edit. Now made it through most of it. That's good. Oh, while I'm thinking of it, I gotta check something real quick. Hold on 1 second. Okay, my story has moved up 100 spots in the queue. Still no word on acceptance. Not that I was expecting it yet, but it's good to know the queue is moving. Okay, did I just accidentally delete? No, I didn't. Okay. You stay, you go. Yeah, it's too early. Sounds like a mostly good morning. It does for Moonflower anyway, yeah. Yay, moving up the ladder queue. Yep. Yeah, they did say 15 to 16 days. So I mean, it's not anywhere near that yet. So, but I check on it every couple of days just to see how it's doing. All right, I'm gonna try to get this guy done on the next sprint. I should be able to do that. I'm seeing I have a bunch of stuff. This one's gonna be an interesting one to get done though. So, but we'll manage. All right, anybody ready for another sprint? We'll jump right back into it. All right, let's do that. Let's go in 3, 2, 1, and go. I am going to be right back. I'm going to leave this screen up with the timer running, but I will be back in about 2 minutes to do something, check something very quickly. Need your attention. I will catch you, and the sprint will be running. is up. I'm guessing time was up for a while and I didn't notice it. I still need to fix that one of these days. That's just about done. Let me just wrap this up real quick, and then I will get caught up with the chat. I just have a few odds and ends to finish. What am I looking for? Speed is 25 feet. Languages, common, goblin, dwarvish. Feats and abilities. Takes care of that. He doesn't have any spells, but he does have a repertoire, which I might use the spell book for, but we'll get to that. Inventory. He didn't fill it in, of course not. So we'll have to deal with that. That'll do for now. Okay, let's get caught up on the chat. Sure, let's do it. Sable doing a find replace edit. Not sure I should bother measuring in words, but made good progress. That's all that's important. Moonflower, 212 words in 9 minutes. Started early and ended early. Okay, good work. I agree. Dazzly Cat says nice as well. Moonflower says thanks. Dazzly Cat, 13 lines on paper. Moonflower granted lots and lots of BB code with all the linking in the family tree section. Yeah, that happens. I think everybody did a good job that time around. So, let's see. We have about 15 minutes to go. What do we want to do? I don't want to start another one of these and then have to wrap and then have it left hanging. As it is, I need to finish this one up with this one saved. Actually, let me at least put it in the PC folder. And this is a Pathfinder 2e PC Goblin Alchemist. I already have one of them, but that's okay. Just make sure the tags are right. Yeah, I think Goblin Alchemist, to be honest, was the only of all of my 15 playtesters. I think Goblin Alchemist is the only place where I had a duplicate race and class. Yeah, there are only 12 classes, so there have to be some overlaps there, where there were only 6 races to choose from, so there's clearly overlap there. But I got a pretty good spread, so the 15 characters that I'm going to offer as one-shot characters are going to have a pretty good variety to choose from. It should be an interesting party, no matter how it ends up getting chosen. And we will find out. Dinobot pointing out it's map day. Yeah, normally Sundays would be map day, but I need to get this stuff done because I need to get it in the hands of the potential players. I have a new follower. I Cast Bolt. Welcome to the to the herd, as you are now part of the herd. And I thank you. And you're the first one on my journey to my next follower goal, which will actually be 125. If you look up in the top corner, I mentioned earlier that somebody snuck in and got me my 100th. Must have been like right at the end of the last stream, because I actually did look through, and there were a few other people who had subscribed and followed that I called out thanks to. And Seratan, Wizard of Isinglass, was not on that list. So, but they are now. So if and when you catch up, thank you, Wizard. How is iCast Bolt doing today? Moonflower is still sprinting. We're just here for background noise mostly. Oh, what else? Sable, do we have anything else to report on Game of Tomes? I noticed it was a featured article today. I did see that. So anybody who isn't sure, especially anybody doing NaNoWriMo, and anybody that does any of these streams for sprints, should take a look at the featured article on World Anvil today, which is a write-up on the Game of Tomes written by Sable. Yeah, you got promoted twice. I didn't catch yesterday's stream, by the way. I have to catch the VOD for yesterday's stream. My Pathfinder session started right at the same time. It did. iCast Bowl trying to warm up with a cup of coffee. That's always an excellent way to warm up. Hey, DM, welcome back. We have 16 streamers signed up to track word counts. Excellent. I told Sable I'm going to try to get this done this week. I am going to put up in my stream that they'll be disabled initially for everybody, but I'm going to put up the channel tracking little doodads, and I'm then going to probably in some off time I will set up actually don't even have to set up a live stream. I can attach the chat to it, to a downstream. It's one of the nice things. But I'm going to record for everybody a quick YouTube on how exactly to use, with visuals, how to use the channel point things to report sprints once we get going in Game of Tomes. I don't expect it to be more than about a 10-minute tops YouTube, but I'm gonna at least do one for how everybody can report their numbers. Once I take a look at the reporting mechanism, I may do a second one real quick for the house, or for the streamers, on how to report, on what to do and what not to do when you're reporting your numbers in. But I'll worry about that one after I do the first one, because the first one is the biggie. That's the everybody reporting their numbers, and being a minor house and having the opportunity to demonstrate a minor house, I will be able to show everybody what to do if you're on a major house, what to do if you're on a minor house, or if you want to affiliate with a minor house, what to do if you're on a stream that's not any house but is still tracking. So it should be nice and straight. It'll be nice and simple for everybody else to be able to get stuff done. So that'll be my little contribution. So Sable, I'll let you know when it's done. You can take a look at it before I'll have to make it public so you can take a look at it, but before we broadcast it or advertise it, I'll let you take a look at it and decide if it's satisfactory. Like I said, I'm going to try to get that done this week. But we'll see what happens. Did Moonflower make the bot mad? I didn't see anything pop up. Let me see. Oh, yes, I did. Yes, held a message for reason identity. Allow will post it to chat. What did it not like about at Sable Radio? I will be writing down any statistics. If I end up filling in for anyone on November 1st, I'll tell you exactly what I plan to do via PMs on Discord. I have no idea what's wrong with that. So we will allow it. I have no idea why the bot even thought. Oh, PMs. It didn't like. Oh. Does it not like PMS? Is that what this? Is that what that one's all about? Yeah, probably. Okay, so remember that, everybody. Nobody's allowed to have PMS on Discord. I think that's what my bot is trying to say. You gotta love bots. They do exactly what you tell them. That's, just like any other piece of software. When we can figure out how to get them to do exactly what we want them to do, as opposed to exactly what we tell them to do, that's when we'll be in business. Unfortunately, that will probably be never. Oh, so what else is going on? What do people have planned for today? Let's see. I figured better with the DMs. Yeah, I did. DM is one of those things that, in context, if you say DM in Discord, I think people usually know what you mean. Sable, originally you said in the rules that non-affiliates were not going to be able to track points that way, but it occurs to me that if people want to take screenshots of the chat itself, that might be possible. Yeah, that could get messy. But it's certainly possible. I think what you still want, though, is you want people to. What you don't want is individual writers taking their own snapshots and sending them in, because then you're going to have double counting all over the place. I think it needs to come from the streamer. So the streamer, if the streamer is going to participate at all, whether it's with channel points or not, the streamer has to take the responsibility of collecting all the information and sending it up. Otherwise, you're going to have a chance. You're going to end up with an opportunity or a situation where an individual contributor sends something in and the streamer sends in the same number, and you'll never know. And you're right. Yeah, and there's no timestamps. There are at least timestamps on the, or at least date stamps, if not timestamps, on the activity feed. So, if it's not going to be perfect, there's going to be some writing done that doesn't get counted, and that's just is what it is. I wouldn't worry about it. Yeah, if you want to screenshot the chat, it might be okay. Yeah, like I said, it might be okay. You obviously need to capture the whole chat. Which I know there's a way to do, but oh, Kajitan, welcome, Kajitan. Yes, thank you for accepting. Yes, you've been let in the front door. I need to, as I said in the comment I sent to you, I need to talk to Kahuna to figure out exactly where to place you. But while you're here, I do have one question for you that came up. Would you be interested in having your colony ship crash land on the large moon of Synergasia? The large moon has an atmosphere, but it is not a human breathable atmosphere. If you look at the descriptions, you can take a look at it. and see it is a sulfur and sulfuric acid based moon, but it is temperate habitable. So and there are science fiction speculations for sulfur based or sulfuric acid based life forms. We're not necessarily talking about sulfur instead of carbon here. We're talking about sulfuric acid instead of water, though, as a main solvent. So if you are interested in that, let us know, and you can have a whole moon all to yourself. If not, if you want your indigenous species to be air breathing, and if you want your people to be able to have stepped out of a ship and started to set up their colony, at least able to breathe the atmosphere, then we will find a region for you. Not sure exactly which one it'll be yet, but we will find one for you within the next day or so and get it to you. But if the sulfur moon sounds interesting, let us know. Funny you should ask about planetary alignment and zodiac purposes. We haven't thought about other planets. There are 2 moons, and there's an article that describes the 2 moons and their orbits, and eclipse abilities and things like that. The other, as far as zodiac, one of the, I wasn't sure if I was going to do this as a prompt or as a, it's kind of hinted at in the write-up on calendars and timekeeping that we did. It's not a prompt so much, but we did put out an article describing the kind of things you could do for timekeeping and calendars. If people want to set up zodiac, their own sort of zodiacs, I was going to suggest and open this up to everybody. It could be an interesting project for Kahuna and me. If you were to all basically identify, what constellations or what major constellations you want to have in the sky, and roughly what they would look like as far as stars, we could start to put together a comprehensive star map of Synergasia. And keeping in mind that even on Earth, different cultures at the same time had completely different constellations, all looking at the same sky. It's certainly doable, but we could superimpose, one set of bright stars on another set of bright stars, and culture A they just happened to look at this set and saw this picture, and culture B looked at a different set and saw a different picture. So we could do that. So I would say a zodiac would be up to you entirely. We are giving you the moons. We have not done anything with other planets. We could talk about that. Kahuna and I can talk about that. But the moons are there, and if you want stars in the sky in a certain pattern, I would say right now, if you're the first one, especially to do it, go for it, and then we'll work from there. What else do we have here? Let's see. You would prefer on the main planet. You have the idea that they're mammals. Okay. All right. Like I said, we'll find a spot for you. That's not a problem. You could have only plants that feed off sulfur instead of photosynthesis and release oxygen. That's a possibility. DM, it sounds like you want to get in on this. Let's see. Moonflower, not actually possible to stream for a few days at least, but you can try to get affiliate before first. No guarantees. How close, Moonflower? How close to affiliate are you? Because we can have a little bit of an effort to get you over that hump. This is a problem, Isaac, and you figured out you're having a calendar start issue. You suggested a planetary alignment, then we realized we don't know any planets that could align. Yeah, like I said, we didn't think about other planets. Um, I know Isaac was talking yesterday about where to start rendering a calendar. Um, I have a couple of ideas, at least for Isaac's world. Um, as well. I mean, Isaac has the advantage of being one of the postmodern, one of the futuristic technology ones, and it might very well be that their culture is aware of the fact that they are now on Synergasia, which is essentially something like a zoo or a museum, if you think about it. All right. I mean, clearly this is not a world that evolved naturally in space. There had to be some extra action involved in putting together all these different time barriers and zones. So it might very well be that they are aware of the fact that they suddenly, found themselves on Synergasia, and that's what they started their time on. That wouldn't work for some of the primitive races, but it would certainly work for a futuristic one. Moonflower, you're not at all close. Been having problems streaming. Checking follower count now. You have 29. You know what? If can you be doing some streaming during October? Because I would bet that we could get you to 50 by November 1st. Yeah, you don't need to have a camera on. If the camera is your only issue, just go without the camera. Yeah, or use face rig. That's the other choice. If you're not sure what we're talking about there, catch a tiller stream, or catch a stream where Aaron is playing around with his with one of his. He's got a couple of interesting ones set up. But I would just go without the camera. You would not be the only one doing that. And I mean, let's face it, the little tiny face in the corner that you see here isn't really adding all that much to the stream. It's what's on the main part of the stream that matters. Your mic is on your camera, but you can but your streaming software, you should be able to simply just not take the camera input. So you should be able to do that. Yeah, Davina uses face rig as well. That's right. Yeah, just don't put video capture on your overlay, and you won't have to worry about it. You can still use the same camera, the same mic on the camera. So if you need any help getting that rig set up, talk to any one of us too, and we can help you work with that. Yeah. But yeah, like I said, if you can get a couple of streams in, especially if you can get in, if it's at all possible to get in a little. I don't know. What's your time zone is what? Moon, I think you told me you're Indiana, right? Yeah, I'm pretty sure you said yeah. I think you're I think you're U.S. Eastern time. A stream or two in the morning, kind of like this, and then a stream or two in the evening. Especially if it's a stream when Lyrane is around. And you'd be amazed what we can do as far as getting followers for you. So. So we'll do that. We'll get the followers up, and we can certainly do that. Okay. All of a sudden, I realize it's 5 after 12. Who is up? Let's see. Hefe is up. It looks like it's going to be Hefe that we're raiding. So before I start the raid, again, now is the time for everybody who is not already a subscriber to reach down into your channel points and unlock the emote that looks like this. Alright, because when we go raiding, our raid call is...
Remember all the happy times we had?
something like that. Our raid call is evolve. Alright, so I'll give everybody a second or two to grab that emote. What does grabbing that emote cost, by the way? I might have to lower the price on that. Choose an emote at 200. That's not that bad. Okay. Alright, and feel free to use that on any and all raids you do today, because you got it for 24 hours. My next stream will be Tuesday morning at the same time as this one, which is 10 a.m. Eastern Time, 7 a.m. Pacific Time, 2 p.m. UTC, and I believe it's 11 p.m. Japan Standard Time. I include that one for Coffee Quills' benefit. And it's close enough for other people to figure out what they're doing. We can talk it through on Google Meet sometimes, screen share. Oh, to show you how to get set up, yeah, for Streamlabs. Okay, so you got Moonflower, you got between DM and Sable, and I use a slightly different tool set. If you're using Streamlabs, though, those are the two that you want to talk to right now. Like I said, get yourself set up, get yourself on the calendar. Don't worry about the camera. Just leave the camera out. And we will get you to 50. We have done this many times, and we can do it again. We're good at it. So okay, I want to wish everybody a excellent, happy rest of the day or evening, or whatever, and have a good start to your weeks. And now let us go raiding Hefe Live. And we will be off on the raid in 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Beep up before we go. I have to say goodbye to the dinosaur. Thank you all for coming. And let's go a raiding.